Hi guys, here's another episode of Xraised, where knowledge meets inspiration in the intricate dance of industry evolution. I hope you stick with us today as we go beyond headlines and hashtags to bring you a real conversation with an innovator shaping the future of law. I'm your host, Miles, and if you've been following us, you know we love guests who don't just predict the future, they build it. And we'll be joined once again by one of those rare leaders who blends razor sharp legal expertise with a visionary's grasp of tech. She's an award winning barrister who spent decades navigating complex commercial law, from construction disputes to renewable energy contracts, while writing, lecturing, and helping shape the next gen of legal minds. And today, she's going to educate us. She's also the co founder and CEO of MiAI Law, Australia's first AI powered legal research platform built from first principles, delivering not just answers, but answers you can actually trust. So, here's to explain why Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG, is the backbone of legal AI. Laina Chan. Hi, Laina.
Miles, how are you?
Good. How are you? Happy to have you again. Before we hit our 30th episode together, let's unpack RAG. Not the kind you used to, clean your glasses, but the kind that's cleaning up the way AI answers complex legal questions. And in simple terms, what exactly is retrieval augmented generation, Lena, and why is it such a game changer for legal AI?
Well, it's not. It's not, Miles, because deep
Oh,
research, ChatGPT and Gemini, they all use RAG. RAG just
okay.
means that you're not relying upon your own internal training, but you're going out and looking at external sources of truth and using that to prepare your answer. So this deep research, it will go into the web, into the World Wide Web and
Uh-huh.
search all the other websites and then retrieve the information and then bring it back. That is RAG. So
Okay.
so it's not RAG in itself. What's significant for what we have done is that we're not searching the whole World Wide Web, but only a curated list of
Mm-hmm.
database.
Chosen ones.
The cases and
Uh-huh.
legislation only the primary sources.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still RAG, but we don't search the whole World Wide Web. We just and then yes. So but everyone, yeah, you're right. I mean, someone did say, I mean, RAG itself is not the answer, but it's where you rag.
I know. So
Where
it's
you rock and roll. That's
like so it's like giving AI, say, a library card and a guided tour before it starts talking. I understand now.
Well, absolutely. But I mean,
Yeah.
every language model, I think, does that. Anytime,
Mhm.
because it's not just looking at its internal training, it has to go and find external sources. So ChatGPT, Gemini, it all does that. It's just that it goes everywhere. And the
Mhm.
difference between us and them is that ChatGPT, for example, will just go and look at what law firms say about the issue. And what they do is they look at secondary material. They don't, I mean, maybe they also look at primary, but haven't really found much evidence of that. What they're really looking at is secondary material,
Mhm.
what law firms and other commentators say the law is, and then they fashion their answers from that secondary material. So
Okay.
that's still rag. We're
Mhm.
rag as well. We're all ragging away, but we don't look at secondary material. We only look at primary material.
Yeah, so no more making things up from memory. It has to work with the real relevant stuff. And one thing lawyers can compromise on is accuracy. How does RAG make sure every point an AI makes is anchored to authoritative, verifiable legal sources?
Well, rag doesn't. It doesn't
RAG
make,
doesn't.
it doesn't do that because all
Oh,
rag does is retrieve the information. And every language model has its own algorithm and it behind the scenes and it's telling it
mhm,
to go out there and search and retrieve, but I don't know what those algorithms are, right? So I don't know what reasoning process it has gone through to work out which uh, secondary material is relevant, which one isn't. There's no ranking,
mhm,
but you know, it's just a generic algorithms that these language models use, which I've said previously, you can use it for searching recipes, searching
mhm.
the best holiday, searching anything. and they use that very same algorithm to search for your legal answer.
Okay.
And so it's not RAG that itself, it's not RAG at all by itself that makes sure that you minimize your hallucination
Mm-hmm. Okay.
because
Understood.
it's not. It's what you do behind the scenes. It's how you've designed your own system and how you've built your own algorithms and the whole reasoning pattern and what you've told it to do behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
That is what will reduce the likelihood of hallucinations. But you can never guarantee there's no hallucinations because we're all dealing with language models, and all
Mm-hmm.
language models are using predictive technology. It doesn't really understand what it's reading. And so it's all the checks and balances that we have put in place behind the scenes with MiAI Law
Mm-hmm.
that reduces the likelihood of hallucinations to, I wouldn't say zero because I can't guarantee it, but negligible.
Okay.
But it's not RAG.
Mm-hmm.
RAG. It's what I
Oh,
have taught the system it can or cannot do with the information it retrieves.
mm-hmm. Well, thanks for that. Now, case law changes fast, and yesterday's precedent can be overturned today. How does my AI law ensure lawyers are always working with the most up-to-date information?
Well, because we're always looking at the most up-to-date databases.
Okay, makes sense. So basically, legal AI with a news feed, keeping pace with the courts instead of lagging months behind.
Or
So
whatever it is
updated.
available online, right? I mean, if it's not available, if it hasn't been published, then we don't.
Mm-hmm. I see. Now, in your
Right.
experience, Lena, how does combining RAG with coded legal reasoning change the quality of answers?
Well, then you get it to behave like an experienced lawyer. So it goes through, it retrieves the information. First of all, we have taught it through a series of instructions how to reason, and as part of that reasoning process, to retrieve the relevant information. So then you get your little basket of information.
Uh-huh.
Then we apply the legal reasoning to this basket to sort out the wheat from the chaff. We just sort it all out. And then when we're left with the wheat, then we apply the legal reasoning to it, and then it reasons through it all using the subset of information we have retrieved, and
Mm-hmm.
then it creates the answer. But everything is,
Filtered.
reasoning process is revealed. All the reasoning steps are there. All the authority is there. Everything is there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's ready for you to review and check that we haven't been imagining things.
Mm-hmm. So RAG basically finds the right legal materials, and then the legal reasoning engine, like my AI law, makes sure they're applied systematically.
It's not, that's correct. But RAG does not make sure that you find the right materials.
I mean, my AI law in this case.
Yeah, because RAG just goes out there and retrieves materials. It's the set of instructions that you have coded up to teach it what kind of materials to retrieve that will set you apart.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are just relying upon LexisNexis, for example,
Okay.
or OpenAI or anybody, I think all they're doing, and I've been told this is all they're doing, is that they have RAG. They're definitely using RAG. Everybody's using RAG.
Mm-hmm.
So they have their own database.
Uh-huh.
They just use the language model to go into the database to retrieve. So they're just relying upon the reasoning that is built into the language model that they're using. So
Okay.
if you're using OpenAI, for example, if you use the OpenAI API, you have your own database of cases, commentary, etc. You
Yeah.
just using the OpenAI or Gemini, whatever it is you're using,
Mm-hmm.
you just use that language model as is, and you send it into your own database, and then it
Okay.
will retrieve whatever it retrieves. It's still RAG. It will retrieve whatever it retrieves, but it will just apply the reasoning that came with the language model.
Okay. But have you actually encountered, or you personally, being a barrister, where RAG plus structured legal analysis delivers something a generic AI model like ChatGPT or Gemini or even other um, legal research platform out there simply couldn't?
Yes, of course. All our outputs.
Oh.
All of our outputs is something that no one that no that I have not seen produced by anybody else. Because we're also RAG. We also use language models, but
Mhm.
we're not just a wrap around an open AI API or a Gemini API. We don't
Mhm.
rely upon the reasoning. We do not rely upon the reasoning that comes with Gemini or Perplexity or whatever it is.
Mhm.
We don't do that. We override that with our own set of reasoning steps.
Like
And
isolated.
that's what, and our model has multiple steps. To answer any question of yours, it goes through multiple steps. And each step does rely upon a language model,
Mhm.
but we're not allowing the language model to just do what it does naturally. We've told it what to do. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
Other people, we believe,
Mhm.
that they're just relying around what OpenAI might do for them. And so that's why the answers that are coming back are not ranked. They don't always return the best authorities or the most relevant authorities. And sometimes they make things up because there's no legal method to it.
Mhm. Well, I suppose that's a difference between getting a definition and getting an actual legal strategy through a legal research platform that actually works for lawyers specifically. And that's very useful and transformational. And I think this episode gives more than just a lesson beyond law. In any business, the quality of your output depends on the quality and credibility of your inputs. So, Lena, thank you so much again and again for sharing
Are you
your
sure?
time, your expertise, and for showing us that AI can be both powerful and principled, which is a future worth building. Thank you so much.
But are you sure? But Miles, are you sure that the quality of your output depends on the quality of your inputs? But that's not I don't think that's the differentiator. Because if you're using the LexisNexis database, they have a fantastic database. If you're using the Thomson Reuters database, there's nothing wrong with their database. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. It's brilliant. They have the most brilliant database.
Mm-hmm.
So the input is perfectly fine. It's great. It's just that they haven't got legal methodology embedded into their RAG.
Yes. Uh-huh. Okay. And that's the difference.
Yes, because they're just relying upon whatever methodology came with the language model that they're using to execute their RAG.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for further explaining that, Lena. And I'm sure a lot of us learned from this conversation. So thank you so much again, Lena, for sharing your insights.
No problem.
Thanks. So, if you're a lawyer, law firm, or in house counsel looking for faster, more accurate, and evidence based legal research, check out myai.law and see how their AI solutions can transform your practice. And that's all for this episode of Xraised. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in and for letting us to bring you conversations like this that make you think or maybe even rethink the way you conduct legal research. Until next time, this has been your host, Miles. Stay focused and inspired with X-Rays.